Hello everybody and welcome. And in today's exercise, we'll be adding handrails to our stairs and platform using our previously made handrail template. Since we are using a template, we want to stick with the basic handrail, and that you'll get over here as 1024. You can also just type in railing and it'll give you the most relevant handrail option. Let's start off by putting it in up here. Much better there. I'm also going to put it in on each of these other beams, and as you can tell, it's not even close to being correct, and that does not matter to me at the moment. Next thing we are going to do is head up here and load top horizontal, and this should be the most basic setting that we use in South Africa. Now you'll see that the hand railing is on the inside, and that is incorrect. And the reason for that is just the side we put it in on. If we put it in on the other side, just apply this. So from the end to the beginning instead of the beginning to the end, it'll be on the other side. Let's undo this again. Now, I want all of them to be on the same side, and that's just so that I can select all of them at once and do all my settings. If you look here, we've got a 171, 171, 171, and 171. That'll give us a cross section of 90, which means 45 from the center to the side. Now it already says 45, so all we want to do is add a minus to get it to the other side. Select this again and modify, and that should put it on the other side. Let's go have a look. Yes, that does look like the correct positions. Next, what I want to do is I want to remove these endings, since I'm going to put pens in. And to do that, I'm going to take the 70 table on both sides and just change that to 0. Right, that gives us that. Very good. Next, I want to make sure that my two are at least 300 from each other in either axis. Let's go do that, and you'll see that this is at 260. So this one is too close to the edge. Now, the reason I put that right on the tip is so that both sides use the same value. And if you look here, we're shorting about 39. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this 200 to, let's say, 300 on both sides. And that'll shorten it the amount we need. But we're going to check it anyway. And yes, that is enough. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side to get this side to be correct. As for the other end, we'll get to that a little bit later. But first, corners. So for the corner, we are going to use plane to plane. Let's just do objects inside. Now, the thing with these connections is they usually only work one way round. So if you put them in the wrong way, the program will just ping and refuse to put anything in. Alright, that should be everything over here. Now, when it comes to this side over here, I'm just going to bring this back so that we can connect to the stairs. In this case, we are going to need to go back roughly 1035 plus about 300 for the end. In that case, we're going to change this 300 over here to 1335. Modify, and that's going to bring this end all the way back to there. And for now, I'm just going to put a closure on it. Next thing I want to do is, well, the exact same thing on the tops of all the stairs. This one is going to be just the standard 300, but no start or end closures. And also we need to change to objects in part so that we don't select the entire stairs. And the next thing we want to do is change to 0. Now 0 is probably not correct, and we'll fix that in just a moment. First things first, let's grab it over here in the corner. Now, as you know, Tekla reads it from the center of the beam, in which case center of the channel. Now this is a 75, so the center is not the preferred position. That will be the back mark. Currently 37.5, so we need to add 2.5. Now whether this is positive or negative, that'll be determined by the one who put it in. Now that's 40. Now if we put the exact same thing in on this side, it's going to have the opposite reaction, and if we measure it, this will be 35 from the back, which means we need to change this 2.5 to minus 2.5. The other option, of course, is to keep it as is and just put it in from the other side. In other words, the other way around, which will make this 40. Now, both ways works fairly well, with the slight issue of sometimes these won't line up from the side. Either way, I'm going to explode this because I only need one stanchion right in the center, so that doesn't really matter to me. The important part is the back mark being correct. And since they are very close, it's hard to visually spot the difference. As such, I'm just going to take a measurement every time I put it in. You could measure it every time, but that takes quite a bit of effort. The easier way is to just check that, right, we're putting it in from the magenta side, magenta side, magenta side, and that's it. If we look over here, we'll see that magenta is on the inside, and it stays the same side all the way. So, when putting it in, we put it in magenta side first, and that'll keep us in the correct position. Right up here. Let's close this one now. And I said previously we are going to explode this, so let's do that now. Good, that gives us a nice side view, and it gives us a side view from everything. Great, so our previous view still works. We are going to just select this two component, we'll take all of these, and explode them. Next, we're going to take one set of stanchions on each line and delete them. They are way too close to each other to be, well, useful in any meaningful way. Let's head on over to Edit and determine the new position of our stanchions. So our stanchions should be roughly center on every one of these. And since they should be roughly center, I'm just going to make them exactly center. Over there. Now remember that unless the engineer specifies the position of these stanchions, usually it's left up to the draftsman to get the preferred position. And that little bit of freedom just makes life much easier for everyone involved. We'll also often have to move the stanchions around in order to get them to work perfectly with the steel. Just quickly that. I keep forgetting they changed it so that stuff turns itself on every time. From over there. Now the nice thing is if you zoom out enough, it'll just pick the center there as a node. You can see the nice green square. Unfortunately, if you zoom in, that goes away completely. So there is an easier way to do it. You just need to be zoomed in or out, as the case might be, the correct amount. Now it stays deselected. And you might just want to hover a second before clicking so it doesn't jump around on the snaps. Now of course there is a way of scrolling through snaps, but it's fairly useless for what I'm doing. Okay. Or at least I just find it easier to manually move the snaps. Right, that should give us a fairly nice in the center all the way positions. Right, once that's done, we are going to quickly do the handrails on the back of the platforms. Now, obviously, we want our handrail to be positioned from here, going in that direction, and we also want to use these settings over here with one minor change. Now, if you look at the section size, you'll see that it's a 133 wide, which gives us a 70 cross centers and a 35 from the center to the position of the railing. Right. Now, I would like to put it from over here, but unfortunately, this is further than the middle, so it automatically ends up on this side. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to put it in from this side over here. Just drop that. Now, what we need to do is take a measurement from over there, and that'll give us 1160. This means is what we need to add from the start point, which is the cone over here, over there, 1460, with the extra 300 being for our bend. And again, we're going to do the exact same thing we did last time, which is explode it and get rid of this stanchion. And we're going to grab these two pipes, select the nodes, and just move them to be right on that stanchion. Now, although it does give us the option of moving it to the side, I tend to turn that off and keep it straight. It doesn't look that great over here. On side, they will of course line it up perfectly, but the reason I keep it straight is mostly just for the bend I'm putting in. Back a little bit, and we still need to do our sloping, but let's finish up with the horizontal ones, which is that. In this case, if I can grab it over there, and I'll just need to lessen that a fair amount. But first, let's just drop that to the other side and do that. Let's grab the settings. I don't want those other settings. This becomes positive again, and again this side needs to come back quite a bit. let's just see how much. 103, so about another 300. No, another 200. Right. We'll take that side over here. Going to add another 200. And that should give us a total of just over 300. Before we put on our pens, let's just quickly fix a small mistake on my part. Basically a big mistake. As you know that people are going to be going up down the stairs, and they won't be able to get from one side to the other with these hand railings in the way. Over here we will need, let's just do that, other way around. Okay, and that gives us this one over here, and as you can see this stanchion is a little bit too far this side or this way, so I'm just going to take the whole thing, explode it. That's just so that I can take this and move it from here. I want to move it to that one over there, which is 240. We're just going to take this minus 60 to get a full 300. Let's just close that up for now. Good. We've got our cage over there set, over here set, and let's move on down to this one over here. Usually these bracings go all the way down to the floor, and that'll interfere with our hand railings. Even in this case where they are fairly out of the way, it won't work because these are still in the way of our. Let's just go put one in for a nice practical demonstration. Change this to 35, and as you can see, it's a problem. And we can solve this in one of two ways. Mainly, we are going to just put an end over here, and then we can either shorten this so that it fits in with its ends, or we can move it back and affix it to the side, which we are going to do in this case, because usually with lower bracings, that is what you'll end up having to do. First, we are going to get a floor plan view. So let's head on back to our side view and just have a look at, right, there's no real floor plan that is going to work. So let's make our own. Go to view, create by 2 points, just get those 2 points over there. Now, I don't really want to see everything, so I'm going to make this down to 450. And that's going to even cut off the handrails and knee rails over there. Next, I'm going to take my bracings and just hide them from view as well. That's the one component. And using shift to nice clear view, and that we're going to take a measurement from over there to over here. That's 13.5. That's 53. So we want to move this out by another 53. Plus 10 from our plate, so about 98. 98 over there. Modify that, and that should be roughly where they go. 9.8, close enough. Right, let's head on back to our isometric. You see it's nice and outside. Okay, next I'm going to bring these ends back, and that'll definitely clash with not something, everything. Let's increase this to about 400 and see that we've got roughly 25 between the two over there. Right, goes a little bit onto this side. Let's make this 350. Basically needs to be such a way that you can't fall through that or squeeze through it, which I doubt anyone would be able to. That's good enough for now. Good. Now, as you can see, they determined it's no longer needed for anything in the middle, which is quite good because otherwise we'd have to have moved the middle to make sure it was exactly between these two, so it wouldn't interfere with either of their connections and just look nicer on average. Okay, let's see. We would like to put a stanchion in, or stanchion connection to be precise. Now, over here we do have the gooseneck, the curved stanchion, and it is probably the easiest one to put in. That's all it requires, but it's not preferred connection. I don't really like using it because each beam you need to go bend it specifically for that, and on average they just don't like using it. What they do prefer would be something like this, just a normal side plate, but this will require a T. Now this T can either be made from plates or a piece of section. If the workshop has pieces of section lying around, for example, they've got pieces of this 203 UB, you can always just use that. Putting it in, and then fix the cleat to that. But in this case, I'm going to use a piece of plate. And the reason for that is quite simply because it's the easiest one to make. What I'm going to do is just go like that, say minus 200, and put a piece of beam in. Let's just put this over here and put a stiffened end plate. What was a stiffened end plate? 7. Right. Like that. Next thing, we're going to set this up to be, well, roughly what we want it to be. Firstly, we're going to say this plate needs to be about 6 from either side because it's going to be a full plate. You could always just make it a partial plate for that first little bit over there. Next, holes are going to be just 170 from the top. Add a 100 cross centers with 30 extra on the side. Doesn't really have to be precise. You could always go and say, right, we don't really need it to be from the bottom, just the top. So we're going to say 35 from the bolt, get over there. After that, we don't really need anything else anymore. So we are going to take it and explode it. Let's delete that so long. From here, we are going to take these two, and we're just going to shorten them basically. Grab that node over there, move it from where it's currently at to be over there. Those to move, getting it over there, that's good. You can delete that, I don't really need it. We're going to do the exact same thing over here. Just move it up to be in line, right over there. And you can remove that edge, not really needed, just looks cleaner. And then we've got our small little T section sticking out. Now this will require that we move our hand railing out a further 10, which is going to give us 108 over there. Grab these two over here. We'll do a copy special linear from center there to over there. Turn those two off, copy, and then do the exact same thing for the other side. those two off again. That'll give us that. Deleted. Now, when we're doing our stanchion connection, place that in again. Stanchion there. We just fix this like that. Simple enough. Let's grab these two. We can just set them up. Now, firstly, 70 from top is correct. 30 over there is fine. 40 over there is fine. That doesn't really matter all that much. It's a 10 by 60 plate, which is good enough because this is going to be M16s. What we do need to change though is the cross centers, and we need to bring this back down to 100. And that'll be good enough. Great. Now, in order to do this one over here, we can repeat the entire process, but personally, I feel that's a lot of effort. So what I'm going to do is just grab everything in this connection over here, and I'm going to say copy, special, rotate. I'm going to grab a point that's just past center over there, and then copy it by 180. This is going to put our entire thing over here. Let's go back to components, select these two as components, explode. Now, what we are going to do next is just take everything over here. Let's change our selection to parts only and to items only, and then deselect the beam. What we want to do then is, well, now let's just firstly line it up and get it down below. So what we are going to do is grab that one over there and just select the item there, and we would like to copy X. Next we're going to say pick again, and we're going to take right there and move it anywhere over here, preferably somewhere there, and that's going to bring us down and out. Remember to pick the same side on both of them so that we get the correct position. Now, paste in the number you copied and copy, and that'll put us right in line with each other and exactly where the other one was. Once that's done, you can go ahead and delete that one up there and change your selection back to everything. After that's done, and quickly delete this one over here before I miss it, I'm going to take just that over there and copy that. Now, as you'll see, it doesn't really work, does it? And that's because this is still a component. So the easier one to do then would be to go back and get the railings again, and just grab random position over there. Once that's done, just load up top horizontal. It's not too important on the settings because we are going to explode it anyway. Let's change this to 300 and 300. Change those to 300 as well. Now we can cancel that and explode this. After that, just take this one up here, copy it from roughly there to roughly over there. Of course, I'm going to go change that in a moment. Let's just do the same with this. Move it over there. Let's copy it. Do the correct position, and we can go ahead and delete this stuff again. once that's done, we can go back to our side view. And again, we would want to move this to be roughly 25 from the side, although in this case it will be slightly to the inside. 26, that's close enough. As you can see, it's good enough over there, good enough over here. Doesn't really allow enough space for anyone to squeeze through and fall out, and therefore it is acceptable. Next, we are going to take these two over here, just select the nodes, and then move these points back over there. Do the exact same thing for the other side. Select the nodes and move them right nicely in line. Once that's done, we're doing the exact same thing for the top. We're just going to grab this, move it right up against there, and as you can see, that's close enough to where it's actually going to be touching. Well, maybe 26 if I pick the correct spot. Now, once that's done, you can again just move this stuff, or if you get lazy, want an easier way, you can always just go to the part end, select everything at once, and then grab those 2 points over there, and that'll cut them off right where you need them. Either way is fine, it's not really going to make too much of a difference. Now, once all that is done, we want to go back to our hand railing, and we want to load the sloping one. Now, the main difference between this is just the 100 over there becomes 130 between these two. Let's just modify this and add our 2.5. Once that's done, we're going to grab a nice measurement from there to the back, which is 40. It's good. And in this case, I am going to use the bottom for both sides, and that's mainly just because I want these to be perfectly aligned, which is going to be a lot more important in the long run than what side they're on, which we can fix with the component. Okay, now once all that is done, let's change our selection to components, grab everything, just quickly set them up. Now, firstly, we don't want any of them, actually we do want the middle ones to end with their respective endings, but we don't want that for the sides. So firstly, let's quickly just fix this 200 to 300, which is our current preferred. Okay, that looks fairly okay. Let's go check it on the side view, and yes, as you can see, all our stanchions are perfectly aligned. Don't take that for granted. They are not always aligned as they should be. Always better to check. Next, let's have a quick look at it from the top. Right over here, we're going to use Shift 2, Control 2, just to see through everything. Have a quick look over here, from the side to the back. Look at this side over here, from there to the back, 35. So these ones over here need to get a minus. I believe they'll be the same for these ones over here. Go. And the outside again seems to be in the correct position. Now we'll get on down here. and make sure that our bottom short piece of stair is perfectly in line with the other stairs that it seems to be, and that should be good. It's nice and dark again. Get rid of all the extra stuff. Now, the next thing we need to do is get rid of these unnecessary ending hoops. So firstly, I'm going to turn off all the nodes because I do not want to change this again. Now, our cone is at the bottom, so that means we want this side over here clean. And for the next one, we want both sides to have nothing. And we're going to continue doing that for the outside all the way to the top, except that we still want that to be a hoop. So let's take this one first, and this one over here got to come at the bottom, so I'm going to undo the top. There we go. Now everywhere it ends goes over to a different level. We are going to leave as rounding. This one over here, deselect that, select that one over there, get that done. Now, why I want to be using this one over here to do the in between? Well, that's simply because our current one does not have that as an option, and that's because our current supplier does not have that as an option. Now, what they can do is the connection between these two, basically a plane to beam, so like that over there, way around. What they can do is take one of these and two short sides and just stick them all together to create this. But in this case, what we are going to have them do is just weld up a piece of plate in between to cover that up. And that's mostly just based on preference of your company, preference of your client, and the way you will do that is going to change depending on who you're working for and what they prefer it to be. Okay. Also, the other thing to remember is that you don't necessarily need to have the exact bends, ends, twists, and turns because, well, as I said previously, unless you are going to fabricate it, it's most likely just a part that gets bought out, and in that case the most important thing is the schedule and the positions of the holes instead of the actual what the hand railing looks like. Now that's it for all the hand railing, and now let's do the schedule. So firstly, let's open up our drawing list, which is going to have a lot of changes to it. Just doesn't show at the moment. It's not a problem. So we currently have two GAs, our 3D along with our plan views, and then our side elevations. Now these drawings are going to increase because of all the extra stuff that we now have, but we are going to sort that out on a future video. For now, what I'd like to do firstly is add a blank drawing or a couple of blank drawings. Start off with performing numbering, and then we're going to say create a GA drawing. Now I'm going to create two blank drawings. One is going to be for the extra GAs I'm going to need, and we'll cover that in the next video or so. And then I'm going to go ahead and use number 4, and that's just because I always want my handwriting to be my last drawing. Let's close this up and go ahead and bring in our new stuff. This is going to be one up here, this handrail schedule that we made. Now, the handrail schedule I'm leaving in my technical structure models folder, and as long as I don't change, let's just apply this, and tap somewhere. As long as I don't change my location over here, it will always show up in my drawing. But as soon as I rename the drawing, if I save my model, give it a new name, and it's inside the model folder, it will no longer show this because the position over here has changed. Something to keep in mind when doing this kind of stuff. Let's just call this hand railing schedule. That looks like it's spelled wrong. Doesn't matter. Modify that. Next, I'm going to bring up here, make this one drawing size smaller, right over there, and fit this in nicely. I'm also going to change this color to this one with the dotted line, so it just does not print. Right, now the next thing you want to do is grab a pen, piece of paper, and then write down everything you need. So we're going to start off with, we need some straight, we need some large angle bends, we need some closed, both on our regular one and on our angled one. Then we are going to need some of these bends. We don't need any short angle bends, so ignore that one. We don't need any slide overs. We don't use gooseneck that often. Well, never if we can help it. We need some straights that ends with the side. Do note that that is going to be different than the others. We do need some regular angled stanchions, and then we do need some regular angle stanchions. Just a normal straight stanchion. Okay. Also, you'll note that we've got our angles that we put in here, and here over here we've got the item angle. So let's just save this drawing while closing it and go have a look at everything we need. The first thing I'm going to do is just take a nice big area selection over here and grab all my straights. And these will be all the straights that are directly on top. And they've got no extra information that they need. Very simple, easy to use, well, easy to record at least. I'm just going to go and select all of them. Now, down here in the corner, you'll find it's counting. You have to be very careful when you're doing a selection. You don't want to accidentally select cuts or other items while you're doing this. And that's just to ensure that you've got a nice, perfect count over there. Saves you the trouble of having to manually count the stuff. Now, this says 31. I'm going to take everything and just hide it. Then write down 31 straight stanchions. Next, I think I'm going to just take the standard corners. And as you'll notice, I do prefer grabbing all the standard items first. And that just makes it easier. So these will all be the wide angle corners. I think that should be everything. Even if it's not too serious. That's the reason why I am hiding everything after I count them up. That just ensures that if I did miss something and I see that I missed something like these two over here, I can just go grab them, say, right, 10 plus 2 to add those two, and then hide these two as well. And this becomes fairly important on a, well, significantly larger structure. Maybe not so much on a tiny little thing like this, as the ability to accidentally click something, there's always there. Well, probability, chance, more likely. Right, next we are going to take, let's see, let's just grab these standard ends. They should be next simplest item to do. These are all bended, these are all bended, these are straight. That one over there, that gives us a total of 9 non-straight ends. Let's see. Next, we are going to start doing the angled stuff. So for this, we will need to get a nice side view. Then head on over to Edit, take a measurement on the angle, and for that we are going to need 2 points. A nice corner, and our 2 points will be one on the straight, one on the angle. Our stairs will be the same as that. This is a 37 degree. And we are going to put the 37 degree in just like that. Even though we know that they most likely don't really have that. And they'll decide what is the best, closest item that they can do. Do that. Up here, grab those two. Grab these. That gives us a total of 9. Hide them. Now, as you'll see, we did miss a couple over here. No. Right, so they just show on hidden on mine and not on theirs. Now, these are basically exactly the same. They're, again, not 37 degrees, but whatever's opposite of that. So, 180 less 37. In this case, we can go and just take a measurement, and that's easier than working it out. Doesn't really matter. A little bit there. Get the nice 2 corners, and 142. Right, so let's head on back to our ISO or our 3D. We'll grab these 2 again. Along with these 2, deselect that. I don't want to mess up my numbers. These 2 over here. These 4 there. And these 4 over here. Right. That'll be those. We've got a total of 14. That. Now we've got our side mounted stanchions over here. That's a total of 4. Hide them. And now we've got our angled stanchions. I'm just going to grab a side view over here. Much easier to see and work from. Right, that should be all of those. Let's just have a quick look at the 3D. That seems about right. 29. No, that does not sound correct. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that should give us 28. I select something somewhere that should not have been selected. Be careful of that. great way to tell is if there's unequal numbers, which was what was in this case. So I'm just going to quickly select everything and hide it. There we go. Alright then. Now we're left with our handwriting. And that's a slight problem, because you don't want to know how many vowels there are, we want to know how long they are. So, what do we do? Easiest is make a selection. Just grab that over there, copy that value, make a selection filter. Now, let's see, I'm going to start a new filter. I'm going to call this CHH, exactly what it says there. And we're going to say the profile needs to equal this amount. And also want the material. So I'm going to say the material equals, and just select one of these components. And just save that. Now, if we go over here, we can just select our new filter, which of course didn't take because we had a character in the name. There. Do this. Save it again. This time ensure it by not closing it up. Right. And we're going to change our selection to be parts only. We must do selection over there. Good. That seems to be working. And this will select only our relevant part. Great. Now once that's done, we're going to head on over and create a report. For this report, we are going to need a material list. We want a total of everything. And I'm just going to change the name to 10 so that I can remember to delete it. And create from all, well, select it on all, and then show. And this will be just the handwriting and knee-roll pipes, which we can just check here. And with a material list, it totals up our value over there, which gives us 123,123. Basically 123 point something meters, which I'm going to round down to 124. Now, you always want to round it up to plus minus an extra half meter to a meter, sometimes even 2 or 3 meters, depending on what company you're doing work for and who's going to be putting their handwriting in. And that's because a lot of this time we are going to do this stuff on site, installation and all that. So a little bit extra is a good thing, even though it might seem like a waste, it really is not. Okay, 124. And a lot of times the pipes will be bought out in 6 meter or 9 meter sections. So that'll probably end up as being 126 meters of pipe that they will be purchasing. This one over there. Now, of these beds, we said we require 10 plus 2 plus 2, that's 14. Normal straight end is going to be 9. Our bent ends is going to be, let's see, 9 as well, with our angle being 37. Now, it does say angle, so it's not strictly necessary to put in the decimal degree value, but what I prefer to do is just open up my AutoCAD file, come over here and grab my degree value straight out of AutoCAD, and then I can go and say 37 and paste, and that just looks a lot nicer, in my opinion at least. Next, let's just apply this agreed, and I'm going to do this aim right over here. Just going to fill that in there. And I think I don't need any of these. I still need it for this one over here. And that's going to be 342 with the amount of 14. Don't need any short angles. Now you can go put a 0 over there to indicate that we don't require it, but a blank space usually performs the same task and saves you a little bit of effort. It'll be 31, angled will be 28. Up. Yeah, just want those to be a little bit more aligned, and over here that'll be 4. And that's it. That's your handwritten schedule. Basically, just a list of what items they need to purchase for this structure. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.